Hello, I'm Vivian McGrath from vivianmcgrath.com, and in this video I'm going to be talking about not feeling good enough. And the reason I'm doing that is because recently a guy I've only met once, who is a really lovely guy, suddenly out of the blue sent me a song. And he wrote me this message just to say, your videos help men as much as women. So I thought, are you okay? And he said, yes, I am, but I wasn't always, because when I was in my 20s, I felt so much inner shame. I actually lost all my hair. And he was saying that he felt that inner shame because he was trying to come to terms with his sexuality and being gay. And he just said, I felt so much inner shame. I just didn't feel good enough. And you know who you are. So thank you for that. It was a beautiful song as well. You are not alone. And I recently had another man write to me who had a similar thing. And he said, do you think the way I've been as an adult, the dysfunctional relationships and the patterns of behavior that I are showing as an adult have something to do with me coming to terms with my sexuality and struggling with inner shame? And the thing I'll say to you both is that this not feeling good enough isn't confined to gender. It isn't confined to race, ethnicity, sexuality. Not feeling good enough. I see this everywhere. And it manifests in us as adults in many negative ways. Now, you might not even know that you feel this sense of not feeling good enough inside, or that you're insecure. You might not even know that. I didn't. I thought I was really strong when I was young. But I see it everywhere. I see it in people pleasers who are always putting others' needs first at the expense of their own. I see it in perfectionists and workaholics who are always trying to prove they're good enough, overachievers who, no matter how much they've achieved, still think they've failed. I see it in people who crave approval all the time and validation. I see it in people who are having that sense of imposter syndrome at work, where they think someday their colleagues are going to find them out that they really aren't up to the job. I find it in people who are always comparing themselves to others in a negative way and don't think that they measure up. There's so many ways that not feeling good enough can actually affect your adult life. And why is that? Did you know that between the ages of 0 and 7, our subconscious mind is being formed? And it's being formed because we're like a sponge at that age, and we absorb everything we hear, see, experience in our relationships with, say, our parents. And we start to associate certain experiences with emotions. So, for example, what's some examples? Say you came home as a child and you got an A grade and you felt really pretty proud of yourself. And you came home and your parents just turned to you and said, well, why didn't you get an A+? They weren't proud of your achievement. They didn't praise you. They just basically told you weren't good enough for not getting an A+. So in your little mind as a child, you then see that and associate getting that A grade with failure. What about a sibling? A child who's always compared negatively to the siblings. Well, why can't you be as smart as your sister? You're not as pretty as your sister, whatever. And that child, the scapegoat of the family, might grow up to be the opposite, be an underachiever. The one who got the A grade and was told that why didn't you get an A+, grows up to be the adult that is forever overachieving because they're constantly driven to get better grades, better results, better career success, because deep down they're wanting mummy and daddy's approval. the sibling who's compared negatively all the time might grow up not to feel smart enough, clever enough, pretty enough. And so they become the underachiever. They self-sabotage in a way because they deep down think, well, who cares? I'm a failure anyway. I might as well not bother trying. Or what about the boy who grows up being told, man up, don't be so girly, boys don't cry. You know, they're going to be the adult man who suppresses their emotions, doesn't feel anything because they're told to have emotions is not manly enough, not good enough. So it's no wonder that suicide rates in young men between the ages of, teenagers and 45. I think in the under 45, the greatest killer of young men is suicide. And it doesn't surprise me. You know, you've got to be manly and suppressing of emotions in men. So what I would say is, you know, this script that is embedded into us between the ages of 0 and 7, this subconscious programming, what happens is we become an adult and 95% of our behavior and how we react to things is driven by that subconscious programming, that script. And what if that script tells us you are not good enough? I don't feel good enough. I don't measure up. I don't belong. Well, then it's going to get in your way. It's going to impact your life. It's going to limit you. It's a limiting belief that is just that, a belief. It's not true. So you need to change that inner critic, that script that you have, and say to yourself and believe in yourself, I am good enough. You are good enough. You're more than good enough. And you know, you're not in a race with other people. There's no point comparing yourself because your life journey is an individual life journey and it is unique. Celebrate that about yourself. There is only one you. And you know what? Although it might not feel like it at the moment, you are exactly where you need to be in your life journey. Sometimes life is challenging. If it wasn't, we wouldn't have those amazing highs because it would all be the same, wouldn't it? So sometimes there are those challenging times. But don't fear them. Don't run away from them. Don't distract yourself from them by going into relationships that are no good for you or burying your head in work. Lean in to those challenging times. The only difference between the people who fail and those who succeed, the ones who succeed see those challenging times as an opportunity to challenge themselves, learn more about themselves, grow and do things better next time. They don't go from 0 to success overnight. I didn't. I had to have many, many failures, but I looked at them as opportunities to learn about myself. So, show up for yourself. Know and believe you are good enough, and the rest will start to follow from there. And dream big because you deserve it. Don't compare yourself to others. Dream big. Head towards that vision you've got and just take one baby step at a time towards that vision. And if you do that, you will start to create the life that you want. And you know, all those people that you're comparing yourself to, they're comparing themselves to you. So forget about them. This is your individual race. This is your life journey. Nobody else has anything to do with that. So you might as well start showing up for yourself and believing in yourself. And you know that lovely guy that wrote to me? He ended his message by saying to me, I've now found love with a beautiful guy and I never imagined that I could ever be this happy. So he said, I now know I'm good enough. I let go of that inner shame. I let go of that feeling I wasn't good enough. And now he's found happiness beyond what he ever thought was possible. So thank you to those lovely guys who have been writing to me. I've had quite a lot of men write to me actually, which is really, really lovely. And it's so nice for you to be an example that none of us are different. We all feel the same. We all feel that secret feeling that we're not good enough. The difference is those who just go, you know what? That's a limiting belief. That's not serving me. I'm going to let that go, and I'm going to now believe in myself and say, I am enough. So I hope that's helpful. If it is, please click the like button, subscribe and share. I really appreciate your support. It helps me so much. And spread the word to anyone else that you feel might be getting in their own way. That it's as simple as that. I am enough. Thanks so much. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye for now.